Hello everybody. This is Alyssa from Mint Arts and Crafts, and today we are here for my December month in review. Sushi's climbing on the back of the chair. So this is, as you guys know, one of my absolute favorite videos to shoot is the month in review. I love looking back and seeing what I completed in the month. So for December, I ended up taking Natalie's been getting at me. That's Natalie over Dad Coke and Diamonds. She's been getting after me for ages that I need to work on more WIPS. So you'll see I have a lot more WIPS in here than I normally do. It's not normal to me. Sorry, Sushi is just causing chaos. She has decided that she has the wild bug. But I don't normally work on multiple WIPs at a time. But it was more of I think this month I ended up working on so many things that I already had kitted up. Specifically because of this canvas right here. And I'll talk about that one. If you've been watching any of my videos all along, you know that this one was a struggle for me to get through. So it was like, okay, I'm going to distract myself and start something new. So I ended up with a ton of WIPs. I think I might actually have 5 WIPs or something going right now, which is crazy for me. So we're going to go through everything. I only really completed one full-size canvas. The rest of my completions for the month of December are smaller kits. And if you guys are wondering about my year in review, don't worry. I will be doing a 2025 year in review, but that video is going to be up next week because I have to film it and I have 100 things that I have to pull out of their storage and everything else, and I might just do it flipping through my portfolios rather than actually kitting. I don't know. I haven't decided how I'm going to do it since I have them all in portfolios. But anyways, we are going to do our December month in review right now. So first off, the first thing that I completed in the month of December, I worked on this right here. This was the, some of these projects you'll see are ones that were in the Advent calendar from Diamond Art Club. So if you haven't already spoiled yourself for that, I'm going to be talking about them as we go through. So first up, we have this one. This is from the mini dazzles that were in the Advent. These are called Christmas treats. We have our Christmas candies right here. And then we have our figgy pudding. I have never had figgy pudding in my life. I always thought it was a figment of my imagination. Then we have a Yule log cake, which I never technically had a Yule log cake. But one of my uncles would always make this really good pumpkin roll for New Year's, and we always had that on New Year's Day with a party at their house. And then we have our cookies and milk, because what's Christmas without cookies and milk? And then, of course, our gingerbread house right here. And we have a cup of eggnog. So those are the mini dazzles. I think these were super adorable. I thought they were, and I love doing the mini dazzles. They're super fun. These ones, they're all roughly 10 by 15 partial drills. They're squares, and they have 19 fairy dust in these. They're all completely dust. I started these ones on the 3rd of December, finished them on the 3rd of December, and it took me an hour and 45 minutes to complete these. So that is my Christmas treats that I did. So that was kind of the first thing that I worked on this month. The next thing that I did, we're going to kind of take care of these, and we're going to pull up the other mini projects that I have. So next up, we have these right here. I only did half of these. These were also from the Advent box. This is a lanyard rope that's supposed to say happy, or a stringy thing that's supposed to be happy holidays. I never actually strung it up because we finished it after Christmas. So I did half of them, and then my mom actually did the other half. But they're all completed, so next year I could actually hang them up. So here is the present, and there's a lot of special drills in these, but they're ones that aren't labeled, so you don't necessarily know exactly what you've got. Also along the lines of the little gifts that we have, there's the little light bulb. We have the words Happy Holidays. Here is a little ornament. I think there was a couple more of those special things. Yes. And then we have a little hat, stocking cap. And then we have a little Christmas tree. And then the words that say Happy Holidays. My mom did all of the, oh, there's a red one. Oh, it's just right there. Okay. We're not actually missing it. It just shoved itself over. So here is our happy, right there. And then our holidays. So let me find it. So I did most of holidays. My mom did all of happy. I did, I think, all but 2 letters of the holidays. And there is our happy holidays right there. So this was one, it was very much a single placey thing. You did have to single place the entirety of it. There was no multi-placing possible with it. So it was definitely something that was a slower finish, but it was cute. And it's if you want some Christmas decorations, this would make good little Christmas decorations to hang up. So I'm going to store it in its little box because there's no other good way to store these. So I'm going to pop it in there. And we're going to put the string in there because that's something I can hang up next year. So that was the second project that I worked on. So now we're going to do our final mini project, which was, I divided this into two separate finishes. So these are the 2024 Winter Sampler Kit from Enablers Outpost. And Elizabeth was the one that created all the artwork for these. And these were super cute. There was, I think, 11 square drills canvases, and then there were 9 round drills. So there are 20 of them total. All came in this little binder. I had done a few of them last year, but really I didn't count it. It was kind of like a WIP, basically, is what I counted it as, unofficially, officially. Each one of these canvases is roughly a 10 by 15 or thereabouts. It's actually a full 10 by, if we look at it and see, yeah, so that one, it's like a full 10 by 15 for these. They're full drills, as you can see. The first of them are going to be 11. Because there's 20 of them, I divided them into like 2 completions on my mini kit completions. So I did the squares first. There were 68 colors total. And there's going to be 1 special drill for every canvas. Sometimes an AB, sometimes a crystal, sometimes a dust type drill. I technically started these on the 22nd of December, 2024. And I finished them on the 10th of December, 2025. And it took me 10 hours and 26 minutes to complete the square ones. I thought these were absolutely adorable. They were excellent quality and great render for them. They were super, super cute. I love them. So this is one that I finished last year in 2024. I also finished this one in 2024. You can see the stocking. And then we have our Christmas tree here. Let me turn on the overhead so we can get a little bit more light on these. So you can see the shimmer of the crystals. Then over here, this one has an AB up in the star for our Christmas tree. And then this was the last one. I think that I completed, yeah, this was the last one that I had completed last year, which has a nice blue crystal. And then these are the ones that I completed this year. So we have our penguin. I'm leaving them in here because it's just easier. So for our little penguin, we have the presents underneath the tree. And then we come over here and we have our poinsettia, which has the nice red crystals in it. And then there's our little snowman coffee cup. Right here, we have I think it's what, a dreidel, but a Hanukkah ornament. And then we have a candle right here, which was super cute. And then this little cat sticking its head out of the Christmas tree, which I thought was like the most adorable thing ever. And as you can see, the render on these is perfection. And the canvas and the quality of the drills was spectacular as well. So these were all done with... unfortunately, this being in Enablers Outpost, unfortunately, they have stopped offering diamond painting canvases. They had to shut down that side of their business. But these are such a cute thing. And I'm super sad about that because I loved the quality of these. They were fantastic quality-wise. So those were the square ones that I had completed. And next we're going to look at the round. So I counted that as one completion for my minis. So I label my minis separately. I don't know why I do this. It's just how my brain works. If the kit is less than a 20 by 20, it goes into the mini category, even though 2 of these is like a 20 by 20, but you know, it's how my brain works. So this was my 30th mini finish total. I don't have the log of how many mini kits I've finished this year. I didn't pay attention to that. Next up, we have the rounds. So there were 9 rounds. I did 8 of them myself, and my mom actually had finished 1. So this was a gingerbread house. And then we have this little reindeer, which was super cute. This is the one that my mom completed last year. This was one of her first diamond paintings. So it was the little Santa. And then we have our little snowman with his nice blingy scarf. And then we have some mittens. I like the mittens. They're very cute. And then we have a little gold bell right here. And we have a little gnome, our gnomey gnome. I should have had my mom do the gnome. His eyes are kind of creepy though. The gnome is cute. Oh, he's wearing sunglasses. That's what it is. And then we have our nutcracker right there. And then our final one is our polar bear. So like I said, these ones, so there were 9 of these ones for the rounds. Those ones I started on the 10th of December and I finished them on the 13th of December. And it took me about 6 hours and 11 minutes to complete those ones. My thoughts on that, there were some symbols that were a little bit too large on the rounds. The squares I thought were an absolute dream. The rounds, I felt like some of the symbols were slightly too large for the drill. Because you could see some of the symbol around it. And I was like, I couldn't tell if the rounds were acrylics or if they were resin. To me, it doesn't really matter because I just enjoy doing them either way. But that was something that I couldn't quite tell for that. So now we're going to go into the regular finishes that I completed this month. So the first actual finish for my finishes this month was one of them from the Diamond Art Club the advent calendar box. This was, I think, door number 4, door number 6, something like that. This is called the Snowy Woodland Wanderer, and it's by the artist John Stewart. It is, like I said, Diamond Art Club. It is round drills. It's a 22.8 by 28.6, and it had 67 colors. Like, this tiny little kit had 67 colors. 7. Yeah, or you could do the whole 6, 7 kind of a thing. But anyways, 67 colors. So this included 2 ABs, 1 frosted drill, and 3 fairy dust drills in here. So there was a lot. And I think I added, let me look and see. Yes. So I added the quad cubes into it to add a little bit, make like a little bit of an accent to it. So you can see I have some snowflake quad cubes that kind of went with like whatever the color of the drill underneath was supposed to be, just to add some texture to like this snow coming down. So it's a very, very cute little reindeer, not into something I would normally just go out and buy, but because it came in like the mini kit, it was totally different. I started this one on the 8th of December, finished it on the 9th of December, and it took me 5 hours and 50 minutes to do it, which is a lot for me with a small kit like this. My thoughts on this were adhesive hell is what I wrote. It was so bad. I have not had a kit with adhesive that bad in ages. It was to the point where I had already done one color and struggled through one color, which took me way too long. So I should have been like, oh, the adhesive isn't good. Let me put the glue on there and like sticky it all up. But no, I waited until I had already completed one of the colors all throughout. And then I had to work around the drills I had already placed to put down the next color, which was something that was very tedious. And would have been a lot easier if I had just used the Diamond Art Club adhesive right from the beginning. I did feel like having 67 colors in this was a little excessive. I was like, there really doesn't need to be 67 colors in it because it's so small. Because some of them I did not use very many drills at all in this. But really that was kind of my thing. It was very tedious to do. The adhesive was horrendous. And again, I don't like a lot of confetti, and I survived because it was rounds, but it was something that took me a lot longer than I would have expected because of all of that confetti and the fact that it was 67 colors. So this one was my first finish for the month of December, my 64th finish for the year, and my 170th finish total for this little guy right here. So now we're going to move on to our next one. So next up, because I needed something fun after doing that unpleasantness. So this was called Sunset in Japan. This is by the artist Sarah Bowman, and it comes to us from Diamond Delights. This is a square drill canvas. It's a 26.4 by 26.4. Has 15 colors, which included 1 AB and 2 fairy dust drills. I started this one on the 13th of December, finished it on the 14th of December, and it took me 4 hours and 4 minutes to do. So you can see how, you know, granted it's a little smaller than the one that I just finished, but it took me a lot less time. This one is beyond adorable. There's a couple squares that I didn't get pushed down all the way. It is beyond adorable. I absolutely loved this. I thought it turned out absolutely fantastic. It is the cutest thing. I love these little kits here. So my thoughts, as always, a complete pleasure. It was fun to do and fun to see it when it's completed. I did have some occasional trash and tabs in some of the drills, but I mean, I get that with most companies that I work with, but it's not like I've ever felt like I was going to run out. I had plenty of drills to do it. So this one, I did actually add a couple additional special drills into this. So it was charted, like I said, it had 1 AB and 2 of the equivalent of a fairy dust, like the fairy shimmer drills. I turned the sun, I felt like needed to be blinged up because the sun was not an AB. So I actually added, one of the specials that I added was basically the color for the sun right in here. I wanted that to be super blingy. It was all supposed to be, the sun and part of these mountains were supposed to be one color, but I used the sun as one shade, and then the mountains, I added a fairy dust version of it. So if you look in here, you can kind of see, we'll turn on, the light catches a little bit more of that. So you can see here is the AB, that kind of yellow toned AB that I added in. And then here is that yellow dust drill that I added just in the mountains to add a little bit of an accent. And then I also had another one that I added as a dust drill, which I think was Yes, so the outline of the mountains as well. So I added this color and I added the outline of the mountains. I think that's what I added. I can't remember at this point because I wrote the symbol down, but I didn't write what colors I replaced. So I can't for the life of me remember. I think it was one of the lighter tones. But anyways, those were the colors that I replaced in this one. This was my second finish for the month of December, my 65th finish for the year, and my 171st finish of all time. That's Sunset in Japan. Super cute. Loved it. So now the next up that we have was this one. So this right here is called Pretty in Pink. It's a Shutterstock image. This is from Diamond Dots. I think I've only done a couple Diamond Dots canvases. It was round drills, a 28 by 35.5 centimeter round drill canvas, like I said. Came with 32 colors and included one AB in those 32 colors. And I want to say, where was the AB? That's the hard part on this one, is to distinguish. There's some crud on the canvas. Was there even an AB on here? I thought there was, but maybe there wasn't. No, there wasn't. I don't know why. It's supposed to be 0 AB. So there were no specials on this one here. It was just the standard colors. So with this kit right here, it looks a little different for sure. I'll talk about that in a minute. But I started this one on the 14th of December and finished it on the 15th of December. And it took me 2 hours and 54 minutes. My thoughts on this one, there was a lot of confetti to do this kit right here. And it also had the guide circles, and the guide circles annoy me to no end. I hate working with guide circles. They like bother my brain when I have the guide circles. So it just kind of was weird. And then how they did this, rather than, having a jagged edge outlining our flamingo, as you see, they basically have the flamingo's outline separated from the rest. And that was something that I basically had to single place the outline of our flamingo for the entirety of it, including the beak and around the eye. It was very weird. I don't like seeing that extra canvas in there like that. That kind of throws me off. So I thought, again, what I wrote down was that it was very weird that they have this curved line around it. I do kind of like that Diamond Dots extends the print out a little bit from the canvas, so that way you've got like a more finished look and you're not putting your drills right up against the white backing. This one right here was my third finish for the month of December, my 66th finish for the year, and my 172nd finish of all time. But that was Pretty in Pink, trying to knock out that. So as you can see, I've had a variety of shops so far that I've worked with. I've done Diamond Art Club, I've done Enablers Outpost, Diamond Delights, and now Diamond Dots. That's 4 different shops that I worked on in December. Next up, we have this little guy. This is the second canvas that came in our advent calendar box. So this is called Candyland Cottage. It's from Eau Claire Studios. I do not typically do AI artists as a rule, just for me personally. But it was kind of one of those things. It came in the advent calendar. It was a cute image. I was like, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and do it. So this is round drills. It's a 22.8 by 22.8 centimeter canvas. Has 29 colors. And included in that are 2 ABs and 2 fairy dust. So I started this one on the 23rd of December and finished it on the 23rd of December. And it took me 2 hours and 59 minutes to complete this one. So not a long time to do it. So that one was a lovely fast finish. Nothing major for that. I did annotate that the color blocking was a nice break, and I did have decent glue on it. The glue might have been a little bit more slippery than normal, but I didn't have the issues that I had with the reindeer that came in the box as well. So that was much better because I didn't have to deal with that. I have to say, I'm glad that they only had 29 colors. That made me so happy because I'm like, 67 colors on the other one was just a little excessive for me. Considering, canvases like this didn't even have 67 colors, and it's significantly larger. So I love how it turned out. It was very adorable. I thought it was a fun one. I did not add any bling to this one. I actually, this month, because I was working through the slog of this canvas here, really was not feeling motivated to add a lot of bling, and sometimes, you do that. But I have a couple of my WIPs that I've added a lot of bling to, and that's where my, bling energy went. This was my fourth finish for the month of December, my 67th finish for the year, and my 173rd finish of all time. And that's our Candyland Cottage. Next up, we have my one actual large finish for the month. This right here is Le Fil et Le Renard. Pardon my, excuse for French. It's from the artist Laura Philippon, and it is from Orloa. This is a square drill canvas, and I want to say, I think this was actually my first square Orloa, really carcass. This is the first square Oroloa that I have ever completed. It's a 55 by 80, so kind of like, oh, decent size-wise. It had 50 colors and came with 2 ABs. I started this one on the 23rd of November, and I finished it on the 24th of December. So that's one that you would have seen me working on it. As I was going through, you would have definitely seen me working on this as a WIP for November's month in review. So it took me 37 hours and 17 minutes to do this one. And my thoughts on this, holy cow, the confetti. Absolute pure confetti, which you can tell just by looking at right in here how much confetti we have. Yes, there was like the sections, the background like this that were pure color blocking, and that was like the only saving grace. I started it right here, worked down, and then I come back up the other side. And when I got to the bottom of the canvas, it about took me out. I was like surviving through these first 2 sections, but then once I got towards the bottom, I was just dying at that point in time. And then it got a little bit better as I like continued on along this top part here. But you can see this is a pure computer generated render. There is like no hand touching that was done on this. So much unnecessary confetti in this area here. It could have been really cleaned up, which I think would have enhanced the details of her dress more. Same thing for like her tattoo lines that she has on her arms right in there. The fox, I like how the little fox turned out. I thought he turned out cute, but I mean, we've got blues and greens tipping the ears instead of like a gray, which throws me off. And then look at this render of her face. Like, oh my goodness, what is that? What is that? It's like confetti and then pow, this like bright section right there. So that's something that definitely I was not too much of a fan of. This one we had a green AB and then we had an orangey yellow AB. Her hair was also pure confetti. Like, you don't even have like the lines just being a solid color down. Like, could have had a solid line of that color. Same thing, but no, it's like 5 colors in there. So that's something. Sorry, this has been sitting on my floor waiting for the month in review, and it's, you know, been in use for a hot minute because I've been working on it, but it is so much confetti. I'll pull it up so we can see the bottom of it because it's very pretty completed, but gosh, the confetti took me out. So this is the bottom half that I was talking about where we really don't have any of that color blocking in the background because this is all checkerboarding. This looks like color blocking, but in reality, this is the only portion that's color blocked, is that dark blue. The rest of this is probably about 5 or 6 shades of blue and green. Basically, I had to essentially checkerboard this entire design of everything in here because of how the drills were laid out. So it took me forever to do. I was not a fan. Also, I mean, she's got blue and green drills and pink drills and then, you know, the browns and everything else in her skin. So some very interesting drill colors in the confetti we see in her leg and in her tattoo line. Same thing right in there. I do really like, I think my favorite part of this whole canvas, I love this the stone right here. I think that's beautiful. And it actually turned out very well. But the rest of it is kind of, like even this, I'm like, it doesn't even look that great when you see it like that. I like the fact that we had the outline for our fox's tail there. But there's a lot on this canvas that was just like, ugh. It was to the point where I'm like, okay, do I need to like look at all of the Oroloas in my hoard and get rid of them if they're going to be like this? And I think that's something that I'm going to have to look very closely at any of the square Oroloas that I have. And if they are like this, then I might just have to say, okay, we're going to destash them. I do have another Oroloa that's a round Oroloa that I have kitted up to work on this month. So when I pull it up here and we take a look at it, once I complete that one in January, that'll kind of like be my deciding factor of like how much of the Oroloa kits I have I'm actually going to keep versus destashing. I have worked on another Oroloa previously that was a round that had a similar feel to this one, and I loved it. I didn't have an issue with it, but I think it was just because this was squares and I am a loather of square confetti. So that's what I struggled with the most. So this was my 5th finish for the month of December, my 68th finish for the year, and my 174th finish of all time. So we're going to move that one out of the way. Now we are on to a couple more finishes. So after I kind of had to intersperse, once I finished that, I'm like, I need something that's not confetti and that's just like as a breather. So this is another Diamond to Delights. This is called Blue Mount Fuji. It's from the same artist, Sarah Bowman. It is a square drills, 26 by 25.7 centimeters with the square drills. I love the fact that it's like, you know, that round look to it. And I like how the cherry blossoms kind of like come out and stand out a little bit more. There were 13 colors on this and it included 1 AB and 3 fairy dust. and it had 8,266 drills total, in case you wondered about the total number on that one. I started this one on the 25th of December on Christmas, and I finished it on the 25th of December on Christmas. And this one took me 3 hours and 51 minutes to do. So it was a nice palette cleanser for this one. My thoughts on this, it was a dream to work on. I loved the color palette. Like these pastel pinks and these blues are just so dreamy for me. The render is beautiful. I love the special drill placement that Elvira chooses for these kits. I think she does an absolutely fantastic job choosing specials. It's so pretty. I love the sparkle on her drills, and it looks fantastic. Very, very nice. So this right here was my 6th finish for the month of December, my 69th finish for the year, and my 175th finish of all time. So now we're going to take a look at our next one. I think I only have like 2 more finishes because that was 6. Yes. So next up, we have this little cutie. So I was in the Christmas mood. I did not work on this one on Christmas Day, actually, which is kind of funny. This is Grinch Ornament. This is one of like those new releases from Diamond Art Club. It's a Disney canvas. Dr. Seuss really. So it's licensed through, it's from Diamond Art Club. It's a 22.9 by 25.6 centimeter canvas, and it was made with square drills. So normally these little ones that they do are rounds, but this one was square, which was kind of cute and kind of fun for it. I love the look of it. This one has 14 colors, which included 1 AB, 1 iridescent, or basically crystal, and then 2 fairy dust drills on here. So when we look at this little guy, I started on the 26th, finished on the 26th, and it took me 3 hours and 16 minutes to do. So my thoughts on this, before we kind of like look into the canvas a little bit more, was that this was beyond cute, and it was such a lovely little snack, and like all the color blocking, I really contemplated and thought about adding bling and enhancements for the snowflakes, and I almost did, but then I was like, no, I'm just going to leave it as is. I didn't feel like taking the time. Our entire ornament is a fairy dust 666, that red dust drill, and then the gold is an AB, and then our little Grinch hand is also a dust drill, which is super pleasant and super fun. And then his red of his robe right there is back to being that dust. So it looks so cute. And then you can see here the crystals. I really contemplated, because it was like perfect with these 4 spots here, to turn those into quad cubes, but I restrained myself and just went with the ones that were charted, which are just the regular crystals. But that right there, such a cute, adorable one. I could have done so much more blinging it up, but it was such a fun little palette cleanser for me to do. So this was my 7th finish for the month of December, my 70th finish for the year, and my 176th finish of all time. And that was Grinch Ornament. And then we have my last canvas that I finished this month. This is going to be the Mannequineko toy Cherry Blossom Cat, and this is from the artist Sam in Japan. And this is actually bought directly from her website, which is Sam in Japan. I ordered these back in July, got them in, and I did an unboxing for them in August. I ordered 3 canvases. This is the first one that I completed. This one is a 30 by 30 centimeter square drill canvas, and it has 26 colors, which included 3 ABs, 1 fairy dust, 1 metallic, and 1 crystal. So she definitely does not like go sparingly on the specials. There were a lot of specials in this. So this little one, I started on the 27th of December, finished on the 27th of December, and it took me 4 hours and 31 minutes. So my thoughts on this was, OMG, it is so cute, and I loved it. The render was adorable. It had good quality with the canvas is a little bit, like, it's a nice, sturdy, kind of fleecy, creepy canvas. Really, you can see how this is basically all, like that right there is going to be the 5200, so the white is what the majority of our face of our cat was, and I just slapped the drills on. I don't care about placement. And you can see how really overall the quality and the spacing, there's some, if you look closely up like this, you can see there's some gaps, but once you look at it right here, you don't really see that level of gaps. But I mean, even if I were to look at some of the other ones, like this is a tight grid, but even if we look at it up close, it's hard to tell with the sparkle on these drills. But even when I'm looking at it up close, I can see some gapping in here. It's not showing up, but in person, I can see some gapping between some of the drills. Same thing like whenever I have color changes. I do much better with my big multi-placey sections. But in this white, you can see, yeah, there we go. That's easier to tell. So you can see in the white there, we have plenty of gapping right there in this Diamond Art Club. And it's very similar to kind of some of the gapping that I'm getting in the white right in here when you see it when it's up close. And like, I'm not somebody who takes my time when I place. I don't focus on lining everything up. So this was very great quality. I was very, very pleased with it, and I'm excited to do the rest of them. I could have added so much more bling to the cherry blossoms. This is so sparkly for our bell on our little mannequinecko, and then our like snow globe is so cute. So that one was a pleasure to do. I loved it. This was my 8th finish for the month of December, my 71st finish for the year, and final finish for the year. And it was my 177th finish of all time. And that was the Mannequinecko cat. But, however, I did do some additional things. So I did have one more finish. It just was not a diamond painting finish. It was a cross stitch finish. So this right here was my first official cross stitch along that I did, and this is from Noctiflora Designs. It's called the Toad Ghoul Terrarium, and I can no longer say terrarium, I think is how, yes, I think that's how. I struggle to say that word now because I'm so used to saying terrarium because that's what I've been seeing for, the last couple months as I worked on this. So this right here, basically a section of the pattern released every month, or every week really. She released a section of the pattern every week, and it was like, this was part 1, well, this was part 1 right here, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, and then we had 6 was this portion, 7 was this, and then we had 8 being the eyeballs, 9, 10, 11, somewhere around, yeah, because there were 10 official portions, and then this was called 0. So there were 11 total, and you worked on it. You got a section of the pattern every week, and it was so much fun. And because I was like, this would be great to do as a cross-stitch conversion, but because there was a lot of back stitching for our little cobwebs that we have kind of throughout it. So you can see here the cobwebs and then the details around the eyeballs and our little mushrooms. So this is basically, they're all different types of mushrooms. And I thought this was the most adorably ridiculous thing ever. And I had so much fun working on this little kit. And you've even got these little bugs, kind of these little mothy things fluttering around. So it was so much fun to do. This one, I started it on the 21st of September, and I finished it on the 30th of December. And it did take me 33 hours and 7 minutes to work on this canvas here. So it was something, 33 hours to do that, which is significantly more than it would take me to do this in the equivalent in a diamond painting as a cross-stitch conversion. But I'm so pleased with how it turned out. I thought it was absolutely adorable. So now we're going to go over the WIPs that I have. We're going to talk about the WIPs, and since I have this pulled up, we're going to look at the cross-stitch WIPs that I have first, and then we'll go into the actual diamond painting WIPs, because it'll be quick to do these, because this one you'll see in cross-stitch in the diamond painting form. So this is the Flower Dragon Meadow, whatever, however you call it, stitch along from Flossy Fox Shop. And this is up to part number 5, which I did not get done on the diamond painting, but I did it on the stitching portion. So it takes me roughly about 20 hours to do one of these sections. So that was the 5th one. So I spent a lot of time on this one right here. It's a very, very detailed, in-depth one. But that is one WIP that I have. Another WIP, I have this. This is like a needlepoint or a cross, or like a half stitch. So you only do the half. You don't do the full cross. And you can see I've been working on there. I have the dark purple done in here, right there. And then I was working on this darker green right here. And eventually when I finish it, it will be the entire front of this. This is going to be like a little mini project bag to sort of store supplies. Right now it has its own supplies inside of it. But that's another one of my WIPs that I have for cross stitch. And then my final cross stitch WIPs that I have, I think really just the one. My final cross stitch WIP is this one right here. So this is, you can see there's a lot of the 5200 done. This right here, what I'm working on with it, which is the white portion, and it's basically, it's going to be a Buddha head bookmark. Yeah, so it's basically, it's a Buddha head that you're going to see. I'll show you this portion of it because you're not going to really be able to read details of it, but that's basically roughly what it's going to look like when I complete it and finish it. But that is the 3rd WIP that I have going. I haven't worked on it in a little bit. I brought it with me to Thanksgiving at my parents' house and haven't touched it since. So those are my 3 cross-stitch WIPs, and now we're going to go into my diamond painting WIPs, because I know that's what everybody wants to see. So we're gonna move this finish out of the way. So first up in the WIP rotation that I have is this adorable piece right here. So this is Year of the Snake from Christine again, or Six Leaf Clover. She's the one that does all of the sushi dragons. So this was her kit from her release from last year for the Year of canvases. Because she did one the year before that was Year of the Dragon, which I didn't really care for the look of that dragon. It didn't have too much accent to it. But this one I thought was adorable. So this one is round drills. It has 60 colors. It is a 55.6 by 70.7 centimeter canvas. And it comes with 2 ABs and 2 dust drills. And I couldn't even tell you which ones those are because I have added some additional specials to this. And you can see, because look at how shiny our little snake is. Because, you know, if you've ever seen a snake up close, you know that their scales are super, super shiny. So I added so many specials, not really a ton for me, but I added a ton of specials. So all of the greens in our snake really stand out. And then also some crystals into here. So I did like dust, I did some fairy dust, I did some ABs, I did some crystal confetti we're seeing kind of scattered throughout there as well. And then a couple crystals as on top of that. There was one that I did, and I had completed my first section, which was basically from here up was the first section. And I decided I did not like the color of the drills. It was this dark green was going to be a special, and I didn't like the color of the drills. Once I laid them down, they were not quite a close enough match and gave this like really weird kind of coloration to the canvas, even though they were technically a 1-for-1 match, because it was a 3818 and this is 3818 in pixie dust, but I did not like how it looked on the canvas. So I pulled those ones back off because it was only this little section. I pulled those back off and went ahead and did them as the charted regular drill. So that's this one. And then I'm adding all sorts of bling into our lanterns as well. So the lanterns have a lot of ABs, some crystals, and some additional dust drills in our lanterns and on our fans. Those are going to be blinged up. All of these right in here are going to have a lot of bling. So these are the specials that I added for the lanterns and the fans. Up top, that's what the original was, and this is what I added. And then here was the snake. I just need to cross off this one because I did not do this 3818. I did not like how it looked, but everything else, I loved how it turned out so far. And I am actually halfway done with this canvas. It's going very fast. I will definitely, this canvas should be done before, like by the end of the long weekend. I will have this one done, but it is so cute and I am loving how it is looking. I'm not really a snaky person, but I think this is precious. I think it's turning out so well and I'm really enjoying the bling that I added to it. I'm going to turn off that overhead so we can see all the sparkle. And it's one of those things where you don't notice the detail of like the cherry blossoms in the foreground here. It looks to me like cherry blossoms in the foreground until you see it. And then you've got the fireworks in the background. I was like, I could have added bling to the fireworks, but I decided to leave it where my bling was on these foreground subjects. And then the background, it wasn't blinged out. So all of the bling is like sitting right next to me here. But that is Year of the Snake. That's my whip number 1. And this will be the first whip that I actually finish for the year. Or for the new year. This will be the first one that I end up finishing because I've literally got 3 sections left to go on it. I've got like section 1, section 2, and then section 3. So that's 3 more sections. And, you know, I will easily knock out like 2 of these sections easily tomorrow on the 1st because I don't have anything else to do. I'm just like enamored by how well the bling turned out in the scales of the snake. I love it. I think it just really gives it that three-dimensional texture. But that's whip number 1. Whip number 2 is my Buddy DP Along. So I'm working on Naughty Space Void by Yume. This is a Diamond Art Club canvas. And I'm working on this together with C over at Sea of Diamonds. So we're working on this together. I'm doing it in my normal route, which is where I start here and come down, and then I work my way back up. And she's working on hers in rows. So she has completed 2 rows. So she's got like to here up done. I have one more section to do right down here. I'll basically do this section here, and then we will have an equivalent amount of this canvas done. I have added, what's also really cool is seeing how hers is looking compared to how mine is looking. So I did the enhancement suggestions for this kit and then gave her the enhancement suggestions. And she chose to pick some of them, not all of them, because you guys know I'm a little extra when it comes to my enhancements, and I like all the things. So C isn't doing all the enhancements that I'm doing, but she is doing a fair number of them. She's got quite a few that she is doing as well. And I have to say, I am in love with how this is turning out. So I have a lot of specials up into the Monstera. I have multiple videos on this. I have one of like my whole blinging process. I'm going to pull out my cheat sheet for the specials. So this right here, those are all of the specials that I have added in. Because I don't do like full canvas changes typically. I'll go off of like items and subjects in it. So there's like some of the drills in here that I'll have a different enhancement for one color on this side of the canvas in the Monstera leaves, and a different enhancement for that same drill over on this side of the canvas and the plants over on this side. And that's just how my brain works. It wanted that difference and that like little bit of a kind of like a change to it. And you can see I could divide it up. I have the Monstera on the left, the greenery on the right. I have the window sky area. I have the fishbowl, which is going to be down here. I haven't worked on that. The fishbowl and the reflection into the table, that's considered another area. I have the vase right here on the right with its plants. And then I have the vase with its plant over here on the left. And then I have the cat itself. So the cat is another one. And then the cat's shadow right down here in the bottom. So this whole shadowy portion here is a separate section. And then the fish itself, that's like another little thing that I planned the bling for. So as you can see, I went all out with this bling and I am loving how it looks. I've got crystals, glitter, fairy dust, ABs, some sparklers, some crystal confetti, more sparklers. Like I have everything in here. I love it. It is so much fun. I love blinging things up like this. And I'm really enjoying seeing like the differences on the areas where C has chosen to selectively add bling versus what I've done in here. I think it looks really cool. I love the effect of like the texture with all the specials that I added to my Monstera, my plants in there. I think it adds such a really cool look. I'm going to see if it shows different when we turn on this bright overhead light. I love how the crystals are catching the light and adding like what would normally kind of look like a drab or brownish green for the leaves, and it really brings out a lot of like those brown tones that are all over these plants, and I love it. I think it's fantastic. So I'm loving how that is going. Also, I swapped out in the upper part. I didn't do it in this lower portion. I left all of this white right here is a fairy dust, and I originally had thought, you know, let's turn the whole of this fairy dust into an AB, but then as I was working, I was like, I did the white AB up top right here. And then as I came down, I decided to leave that as a dust drill for that white. And then I've got some really cool drills that I'm working on in the cat, in our little Space Void's face. I'm loving this blue and green glitter. Oh my goodness, it looks so good in person. So I'm really enjoying working on this one, and it's kind of fun, like I said, doing that combination. So details on Naughty Space Void. It's from Yume. It is the artist, of course. It is a 60 by 76 square drill canvas. And it came with 59 colors, which included 3 fairy dust. That's all I had was 3 fairy dust, so of course I had to add bling to it. But as my second whip that I have going, and this will probably be the second one. I kind of put these in the order that I expect I'll finish them for you guys, so you guys can kind of see that. Our third whip that I have going is my cross-stitch conversion of the Flower Meadow Dragon Sal, or however you want to say it. So this is my third whip that I have going. As you can see, this was part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. I was going to try to knock out part 5 before filming this video, but I decided to work on a Year of the Snake instead, and I finished a section on Year of the Snake instead. So I will work on this tomorrow, but this one will be done in January because the final portion, part 6 right here, releases January 10th. So I will finish this portion probably this weekend before the end of the before the end of the week, and before this one right here releases next week, I will finish this. So this one it's super cute. I'm loving it. I don't have the details or stats for you because I don't have it written on the canvas, obviously, but this has been super fun to do. I'm loving it. I think these dragons are adorable. My favorite dragon so far is this tiny little green dragon, followed very closely by the blue dragon right here. Those are my 2 favorite dragons. I love all of the details that we have in here. I do have to say though, when it comes to actually stitching this, I do not like how many like color changes I have to make and how it jumps all over the canvas to do all of the details and the greens. So that's something I liked. I like cross stitching the dragons and the details on the dragons, but doing all of the extra little finicky things in here are not my favorite thing to cross stitch, I have to say. But that is my third WIP. So that is WIP number 3 that I have, and this one will definitely be finished in January. So now we're gonna move on to WIP number 4. So WIP number 4 is one that I'm so looking forward to having done. This is my Diamond Art Club Treasure Quest card custom prize that I got done. This is actually from a painting that my mom had done. It's called Mountain Temple, and it is stunning. So I'm doing it because this is very much, it's computer charted with some hand charting touch-ups, just a little bit to clean up to kind of clean up any unnecessary confetti in here. And with the way that my mom painted this is a pastel. For the original is a pastel. So it's going to be with the blending of the colors to give it that look, it has to be very confetti heavy. And also Kate, when she did the special drill placement on this, she knows how much I love my special drills, especially like I love ABs. Some people hate ABs. I love ABs. So this has so many specials. Like there are tons of ABs up into this background, and it works. There's dust in here. It works. There's so many specials. So this canvas is, let me pull out the stats for you, 49.5 by 83.6, and I got it in rounds because I love my rounds. And it has 67 colors, as you can see, so not excessive with our colors. But what I love about this is it has 3 ABs right there. And then it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dust drills in this. So this is one that I'm going to do as charted. I'm not going to be adding any specials to it because it already has a bunch of them added in. But that's what I have done so far. And look at how beautiful and stunning this is. I think it's fantastic. And my eventual goal is to have it, to hang it up and actually have it hanging next to the original artwork. Because my mom did gift me with the original painting, which is so small. It's so cute. But I love having this done. It's turning out so good. So good. I love the color of it. It's like such a soft, muted color palette. And it's so enjoyable to do. I am working on this. Like, this is the first time that I've actually ever been taking advantage of these, like, perforated sections from Diamond Art Club. So I'm actually working on it in, like, my section is this right here. So I'm not dividing it into, like, individual perforated squares to do those, because that's just no, not doing that. But I am kind of breaking it down, and I will turn these 3 squares into one section along this perforation, and I will work on that section. And then I'll move down to the next section, because that gives me, because I work on this sideways, so that gives me those skinny little rows. And I am so in love with how this is turning out. So in love with it. It is turning out stunningly gorgeous. But that is WIP number 4. I do not know if I'm going to finish that one this month or not. I'm kind of trying to savor it, so I'm like, whenever I need a break from whatever kit I'm working on and I want something super fun to do, I'll break that one out and work on it. And then we have WIP number 5, my 5th WIP, which is like my perpetual forever WIP. I should have added this when I did my goals for 2026. I should have made one of my goals for 2026 to finish this cross stitch conversion, which I am getting close to being done with the first page of the background. So I did a WIP in chat where I worked on like this section over here and some of the black in there. But I actually have finished all the way over to right here. You can see that line. There's another, let's see, there's another, that far. There's like another that far to go, which is like basically like that far. I basically have that equivalent to go still to the right of what you're seeing to finish out that top part, and then kind of like coming down to here. I still have to do the rainbow color edging, the rest of the white filigree, and then the rest of the 310 over off to the right side. But I was very proud of myself. I did actually make progress on this one because I feel like there's too many times where I do my month in review and we're like, oh look, and the WIP that I haven't touched in 6 months. But I have actually worked on this one, so I was pleased that I had made some progress on this one because the colors are fantastic. Also, as an incentive, this is the canvas and drills are from Jada Gem Shop, and the pattern is from the Witchy Stitcher. So this is her nostalgic tarot, and she did, like, on her Patreon, she did individual releases for each of these contents, each of these cards for the tarot. So this is a canvas that's going to be like almost a 5 by 5. It's like 4.5 by 5 feet when it's completely done, but it's looking so beautiful, and I'm really looking forward to like finishing this first row, and then I have to decide if I'm going to work on the cards or if I want to like continue pushing with the background. I haven't fully decided that aspect of it. I feel like it'd probably be easier for me to start into the cards and do the cards and then move the whole thing and shift it up and go from there. And I may end up doing that because that'll give me a break from just the straight 310 color blocking, because I have to do it in, I can't, because the drills fit so well together, because the quality of Jade's canvases and drills are fantastic. The drills fit so closely together and are so snug on the canvas that I have to basically do one line. When I'm doing the 310, the color blocking, I have to do one line, skip a row, do another one, skip a row, do another one. And then once I've finished like a section of every other row, then I have to go back in and fill it in. Otherwise, my placement ends up off on it. But that is my 5th WIP that I have for the month. So like I said, I've got a lot of WIPs going on right now. I have 5 WIPs. My goal for the month of January is to have completely, is when I show this WIP off, to be able to show you guys that I've completed that whole section and have this completed down through to here and all of that 310 to the right done. That's going to be my goal for this project for the month of January. So now, what am I going to work on in January? That's always the true question. So I do have some kits already kitted up. I'm going to grab those up. I think I still have 3 kits kitted up. Yeah, I think I have 3 kitted up, and then I have 1 planned. So I've got my WIPs that I already went over. I will definitely be finishing this one. This is Bats and Bells, Teas and Spells from Flossie Fox, by Flossie Fox Shop. It is from Jaded Gem Shop. This is a little baby. It's basically a 19.25 by 20.5 square drill canvas, 25 colors, which includes 2 crystals, 4 glimmer, and 1 luminescent drill. So those are going to be the specials on this one. Lots of specials for this. This is one of her pixel charted kits, and I'm excited to get that one done and knocked out. It'll be a nice little palette cleanser. Another one that I plan on working on this month is Year of the Tiger. This is another one from Jaded Gem Shop. The artist from this one is, I think it's Jenna Winghu is the artist for this one. It is a 50 by 50 round drills, because this is one of her hybrid charting. So this is one that I did order in rounds. Those I pretty much always order in rounds. Very rare for me to not do that. I did have this one charted with ABs, and I want to say the entire background is AB. So that's something that now that I've learned kind of like how the AB charting goes, because Jade doesn't necessarily fully pick, I don't think she like fully picks where all of the charting is on those. So sometimes it's like, you're like, well, you would have thought that the ABs would have been up in here or in the mask, but no, I think it's the background more so than anything. So this is one that I will definitely be adding enhancements to. I just was not in the mood to plan out the enhancements for it yet. But I am going to be doing lots of enhancements. I want to enhance the mask right here, the flower right here, and then like her hairpins, I want to enhance the metal and the gold of the hairpins. Same thing with like her little finger tippy things right here and right there. I want to enhance those as well. Maybe into like her lipstick and into her eyeliner as well. But that is going to be the basically the actual first like big project outside of my WIPs that I'm going to finish in January. I want to work on this one. And then next up, this is the other Oraloa that I talked about. So this is a round drill canvas from Oraloa. It is called Totem Phoenix. It's from the artist Bayonet. Round drills, and it's a 50 by 70, and it has 50 colors, and in those 50 colors, it looks like we have 1 AB. I was originally going to plan bling for this one, but I'm like actually leaning towards the back. Looking at the render for it, I'm like, maybe not, because there's a lot, when they do their colors, it's a lot of like pure checkerboarding when you have 2 colors, and I don't know that I have it in me to checkerboard, so I might kind of mix some of the colors together. So you can see here, look at that, like literally checkerboarding those 2 colors together. So I may end up just mixing the drills together and placing them and not checkerboarding them, because I can't with the tediousness of checkerboarding. So we'll see what I decide to do for that. Also, you can see in the background, we have a lot of that like checkerboarding when we look at the placement in there. So this is why I'm like, okay, maybe some of these older Oraloas, because this is one of my 2023 Oraloas. And I'm like, well, maybe with some of these older ones, I just focus on just knocking it out, and like maybe if I don't enjoy it, I may have to look at the ones that I have and see if I'm potentially destashing them to somebody who would enjoy it more and doesn't mind checkerboarding colors, which I do not enjoy at all. But that is going to be my third one. These are the 3 that I already have fully kitted up, so I'm definitely going to finish them in January, because they're from my Kit Up Palooza that I did in November after I finished my Drills and Chills kits. So this is going to be the final one of those. And then next up, we have one of the loveliest kits ever. I have not kitted this up yet. I did pull the canvas out so I could plan the enhancement suggestions for it. So this is Duck Bath from Art by Julia, and I'm going to be doing this for the Art by Julia DP along that's going to be going on in January, and that's going to be hosted by Michaela Renee, Natalie over at Die Cooking Diamonds, and Diamonds at Tiffany's. So Natalie, Tiffany, and Michaela are hosting it, and I am going to be working on it. And I actually, I planned the enhancements for it, and I'm so excited because I just got like the notification today that it has shipped from, or that the enhancements have shipped from DP with Sparklers. So I'm super excited about that. Okay, this air bubble is annoying me, so we're gonna fix that. If you see this air bubble in your canvas, the easiest way to fix it is literally pull your canvas back past that air bubble, and then you can place it down. It's actually like right at the seam. That's one thing that I found with these things is with the perforated covers is that you get those air bubbles at the seams much better. So now you can see how that massiveness of that air bubble type crease is mostly gone. And once you lay down drills, it'll get rid of it completely and it won't really be an issue. But I have planned my enhancements for this one. I need to clean it up because really my enhancements are right here at the top, but crossed off. And that was so I could know that I was writing them properly down here to plan them out. So it's kind of like a combination of this and this to take, and I have to clean it up and make it look like the rest of mine. But basically, I'm going to be enhancing the laundry basket right down here. I'm also going to be enhancing in the tub. It's going to be the water in the tub that I enhance, not the tub itself. The ducks, I'm going to do some enhancements on our little duckies. The towels, I'm going to enhance the towels that are hanging on there. And then also the plants up throughout. So our plants and our greenery that we're seeing throughout this, those plants are going to be enhanced too. There are a fair number of special drills that come with this kit. A very large number of dust drills, I want to say, because it's a pretty big kit. As you can see, it's a 65 by 81 basically. And it has only 30 colors, which means color blocking dream. So I'm actually going to probably fly through this pretty quickly. And it has one AB and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fairy dust drills. And one of the ABs one of the dust drills that it has is like a big portion, like all of the water down in here is one of those dust drills. There's so many, like, and this entire background of the wall over here is another dust drill. So that's going to be a lot with that. But anyways, that is Duck Bath, which is going to be the other whip that I have planned for January. And I haven't fully decided if there's anything else. My goal will be to kind of work through those ones. And if I finish those canvases that you see right there, then from there I can decide whether I'm going to do any additional whips or any additional kits or not. It really depends on how much progress I make on those. And on top of that, and then I'll be prepping for my event in February, which is going to be the Lunar New Year DP along. This will be our third time doing our third annual event. For the Lunar New Year DP along. So I'm already kind of planning out and thinking of what kits I want to do for that, which I think I'm going to do Fushimi and Ari, and there may be some other ones that I throw in there as well, but I'm definitely doing Fushimi and Ari, which is going to be like, so in January I'll have to like pull it out and see what I want to do bling wise for it, and then if there's bling I don't have, order that bling in for that one. So there's not very many canvases that I'll take the time to really go that in depth where I plan out the bling and then order the bling for. Usually when I'm enhancing the kits that I work on primarily, you'll see me basically say, okay, these are the drills that I'd like to, the colors I'd like to enhance. Let me go see if I have any of those colors. And if I do, I enhance them. If I don't have anything that matches, then I don't enhance that particular color. But anyways, that is all I have for you guys today. I know this is a nice lengthy month in review. I feel like they always are with me because I can talk for days. But that's all I have for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.